Hello, everybody.
Don't yell.
I'm not yelling.
You're always yelling.
Change the top chat.
Yeah.
Just in case Stray Bullet comes in here, we want to be able to see him. That's nothing.
Okay. Sorry. Hi guys. Mark Sauvé is here.
Hello, Mark. At present and accounted for.
Both del Campos here early.
Thank you, Buff, for getting here early.
Johnny C says buenos tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Tavo's here. Hi Tavo.
Hey, Tavo. I knew you'd like the Mustang, Buff.
Bully Carafano's here.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
Dean Stevenson is here.
Hey, Dean.
He says I may be a few beans short of the full taco, but at least half of me is here.
Is that a burrito?
It's a burrito, yeah.
Oh.
But burrito didn't sound correct. He says, I can hear Mexican Spectre and Mrs. Mexican Spec. Okay.
Well, that's good because we have microphones on, so I would hope you would hear us.
Blue Grid Garage is here.
Hey, Blue Grit. No, not Capri. It's a Mexican Ford Mustang. They never made a Mercury Capri coupe, as most people know.
Close the door. They started with music.
Those neighbors and their music over these holidays.
You want to turn off the light or it's fine like that?
Yes, it's fine.
Don't hurt yourself.
A little thing about this Volkswagen that you're looking at. Notice how the license plate is bolted to the rear bumper. I bought a Volkswagen one time, a Beetle, and I went to the Volkswagen dealership because I wanted the bracket that hangs from the thing on the trunk on the hood, so I could hang the license plate off it. I went in there and bought it. It was 9 pesos, which at the time was like, I don't know, 55 cents, 55 cents US or whatever. So instead of people paying the 9 pesos and hanging it right, they drill holes in the hood of the vehicle of the Beetle, or they'll drill holes in the bumper or whatever, instead of just doing it correctly. It just never understood any of that. Never understood that. Dean, that would be a nice Mustang for you. We could put the air conditioning back on the car and put a heater core in it, and nobody would recognize the Mexico only wheels.
Would it be easier to steal with the how does the thing on the
No matter where it's bolted to, they just unbolt it.
So it's bolted as
Some
well.
people don't like it vibrating back there, because Beetles vibrate a lot. But I don't want to damage the paint of the car by drilling holes in the hood and bolting it directly to the paint. I don't want to do that. And when you bolt it to the back of the bumper, it just drags when you go up a driveway or something. So I like to do it how it came out of the factory.
Walter Campos says, and then no license plate light on the bumper.
Exactly, but nobody here cares about that anyway.
Driveway of Misfits is here.
Hello, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Hold on, I want a sip of water.
Like I told you before, Dean, I probably couldn't find a burrito here if I tried. People sell tacos all over the place. Who sells burritos here? Except for that large one that we find at
Sí, el burro de medio metro.
Yeah, but that's at the.
No, they have a place
I
here.
wouldn't know where to go.
It's in front of the church.
Oh, that's even worse.
Why? Because it's in front of the church.
Yeah, it looks like this one's bolted right to the hood.
They do sell them.
They just drilled holes in the hood and drilled right into the car. Crazy.
That was it. So the plate mount wasn't supplied as part of the car?
Yes, it was, but this was a used car that people have done whatever with it, and I just wanted to put it on there. And you take 2 nuts off of where the license plate light is. You just slip the bracket in there. You tighten it back down, and it's kind of like the bracket's kind of like an H, and then you bolt the license plate to that, and that's the way it came out of the factory. But people want to take it off or change this, or hey, it looks cooler if I damage my paint and put the plate right on the back of the Beetle. You know, so I don't know. I'd rather have it just hanging there and not hitting the paint or anything else or damaging the bumper.
The Steven says that you can find burritos at big chain stores. Oh,
What's a
thanks.
big chain store
Like Walmart and stuff.
where they sell big chains like the hardware store?
And it's also laughing because I just said in front of the church. It's because our town is kind of small. Like everything you reference here, it's easy to know. So the church is like the main church, the biggest church here, and also is known because it's like literally the center of the town. It has a what do you call it? A little plaza.
Yeah, plaza
It has a plaza right there.
with a gazebo in the middle of it.
Yeah. So when you say the church, that's the church that you're talking about. Ernie Manson is here.
Hey Ernie, thank you for joining us. Yeah, they're even though they're over 20 years old, there's still some very, very nice air cooled Volkswagens here. Some of them are original. Like this dark blue one. I mean, how nice can it get? It's supposedly a jeans model, but I'm not sure if they made a jeans model in the year 2000. I'm not sure, but it has the jeans wheels on it. It has the jeans color, and it has the denim interior. So I don't know if somebody made this or it was actually an original jeans model.
Dean says nice speakers, Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well build up the speakers in the back window so you can't see out the back window. Why not?
Mm. And Tavo says strange people.
Yeah, well, everybody likes to modify their cars when they get them. So, hey, there's even a spare tire jeans wheel. That's rare. You got five of them in the car? Huh. Volkswagen made a lot of special models only for Mexico with limited production. So there's just, I mean, so many of them, so many different special editions that came out.
Dean says the plate mount was stock. It was just removed because of the rattling.
Yeah, but you can't hear the rattling over the rattling of the engine. So,
Fair.
and if you look at this engine picture, you can see the plug into what looks like the carburetor, which tells you it's a fuel injected model. Yeah, I see the plug right there. Sometimes the plug's a different color.
Chris says you can add rubber bumpers to plates or slash mounts to stop rattling.
Yeah, right behind where you put the mount, but it does kind of stick out at an angle from the. It doesn't. It's the plate is not hitting the paint, the hood. It sticks out kind of at an angle, so I don't even know. There's not a lot of rattling back there if it's tight enough. But yeah, that's denim interior or imitation denim interior because you can't really use denim for interior.
Dean says fuel injection.
Yeah, it is an injected Beetle.
That sounds funny. Ernie says, do the fuel injected models have a catalytic converter?
They might because they are. I'm not sure about the early ones, but because fuel injection came out in 1994, but I'm sure towards the end they put a catalytic converter on because of the smog problems that Mexico City had and has. They wanted it as clean as possible.
Kim fixes things here. And they say, who doesn't like a good rattle? That's almost as good as a tachometer.
Yeah, Kim, welcome. Thanks for coming. If a car is too calm with no noises, it's boring. Puts you to sleep. There's got to be some noise that you're listening to. That's why people put louder exhaust on their cars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the expensive stereo systems but I'll spend money on an exhaust system.
Chris says 75 to 79 US Beetles had fuel injection, but I don't think they had catalytic converters.
It is kind of a short exhaust system from the engine to the muffler right out the back of the car, so I'm not sure where they would put it.
Dean says sharp cutters always battle. It's part of a beetle's character.
Yeah, you can. That's just how they were made. Even the fuel injected ones, even though they run smoother and they start easier, I hear. I mean, if somebody wants to take one of these Beetles to a place where, kind of like where you live, Chris, the fuel injected model is the way to go because it'll start a lot easier in cold weather. But I asked my mechanic if we could take an older one and add the fuel injection to it, and his eyes just glassed over because that's not something that he understands. I don't know what sensors are on the engine, where the sensors are on the exhaust to feed the information. If there's a computer, I don't know any of that. So I don't know what if we would even be able to.
Bob Del Campo wonders what charf is.
You're asking Dean to clarify something. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Now here's an interesting little car, a 2004 Volkswagen Derby. What actually the official name of this is Volkswagen Van, VAN, which it should say van on the back of it. They just took a car and kind of made the opposite of your Ute buff and made it an enclosed van on a car chassis. And this one has windows for some reason. I'm not sure why. And those wheels do not look like they belong on it. And if you're going to paint the wheels, don't paint the tires too.
Dean explains sharp is likely a phonetic spelling or slang for chaff, meaning dry plant husk or something worthless, often used in New Zealand slang for eating quickly, sharping food. Chris says there's a rudimentary computer for the air-cooled fuel-injected Volkswagens. Type 3 Volkswagens were fuel-injected in the 1960s.
Yeah, but who knows what they would have done with the later model uh, Beetles here, because they're not going to get sophisticated or make it difficult to build the vehicle in the plant. They're going to make it as easy as possible to get as many out the door as possible. So I'm not sure where a computer would be in the thing or what it would control, but there has to be some kind of sensors on the engine or to tell the fuel injection. I'm assuming that because it could just be like it's a throttle body, obviously like the early Chevys. It just sprays down into the carburetor basically. So I'm not sure if it does any adjusting or not. I don't know how this system works really.
June says slang term like DAX in Australia for Beetles and combis.
DAC. Hmm.
That's random. I heard DAC in The Sims, but
Yeah.
anyway. Bob del Campo says painted the concrete too.
Well, they may not have moved the car since they painted it.
Dean says the early Volkswagen Bach D
Bosch.
Bosch D G-tronic was a very hard system to master.
Yeah, they're not going to put anything difficult to master in a Volkswagen Beetle in a Mexican plant. They're not going to do that or make it hard for anybody to repair it at the dealership later. That came way later. That's new stuff. Not at a Volkswagen plant.
Mid South lowballers here.
Hey, Mid South, welcome.
And they answer to D. Stevenson saying we might say scarf rather than scarf.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've heard people say scarf the food down.
Yeah.
That's more of a surfer's kind of thing, surfer slang.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm. Mark says I'm back. Was dealing with the dogs.
You do a lot of dealing with dogs. Lots of dogs.
Chris says, yeah, there are several sensors for the fuel injection. I think the later Mexican box used Digifan fuel injection box is Digifan fuel injection. Box is under the back seat behind the driver. IRRC. What was that?
That's ice.
Oh, the ice fell into the
Yeah.
cup. It scared me. Then Dean says the Bosch,
Hmm.
the Bosch G-Tronic was a system of legendary complication. Volvo, Saab, Citroën, and Volkswagen used it, and uh, them to a it bet them to a pulp over service diagnostics.
Beat,
Beaten,
probably.
probably. Tavo says, yeah, early Volkswagens equals DAC DAC. Ported rotary equal brap brap. Dean Stevenson says Mercedes Benz used it too.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Mark says 10 dogs equals lots of dealing. Lol.
Yeah, we're down.
Wow, 10 dogs.
We're only down to one, so he's since he's all the years that he's lived with us, he's never really been allowed in the house. But since the other dog died, he's alone out there. So we've been opening the door and calling him inside. So he now likes to sleep on the floor in Mrs. Speck's room, and he sleeps all night and then goes out and does what he needs to do in the morning, or comes back in or whatever. So he's getting more used to coming inside, and it's for him it's cooler out there. So he's allowed inside now.
I, in the morning, well, at like 7, when I stopped working, I opened the door and he went outside, and I think I went to pee while I was uh, doing my pajamas, turning off the computer and everything. And then I heard a pitter patter of, of paws right outside, and I was like, okay, you came back. Come again. He can sleep
He
all night
still
in his
has his
room.
own room when the door's now open. We took the barrier away so he can go in there and eat his food and go out in the backyard whenever he wants to. But he still prefers to go out to stay outside most of the day laying under the car.
In the sun.
Well, every time I go out there, he's underneath one of the cars.
Mm.
But he needs to be close to the front gate just in case something's going on there and he can go put his 2 cents in out there. Gives him something to do.
Chris asks Mark, how's it going, Mark? And Dean says it was a continuous fuel injection system. The UK Brico and US Bendix companies got paid out via Bosch
Gosh.
to use the system. The British and Americans dodged a terrible service and maintenance bullet.
I saw that on Monkey Ranch Mike's. He has a 69 Mercedes that he took the whole system apart, cleaned everything to get it working again because the car had been sitting for many years. So yeah, it's maintenance intense. That's for sure. If you let it sit for just a little bit. Here's another one that Buff's gonna like. Very, very nice color on it. This car has been set for sale ever since I have been looking at cars in Mexico for the last 5 years or so. This car has been for sale. Same car, same wheels, same everything, and nobody has bought it yet. They want 320,000 pesos for it, I think, which people are not going to spend that on a Ford Galaxy here. They're just not going to do it.
Mark is at minus 15 Celsius.
Let's stay inside the house weather.
Tabo says, I like that if it had 2 more doors.
We have 4 doors here, Tavo. We can make a deal.
Mark says, looks like it has a heater delete.
It is very possible because a lot of these cars did not have heaters even up into the 70s. I had a 73 country sedan that had no heat. Well, it's got the heater control on the dash, but my 73 had from the factory it just had a block off plate. There was no heater, no air, no nothing. And that's how people drove around and at that time it was normal to them.
Bring a jacket.
I bought the car and the first thing I did, it was came November, we had a big carnival type fair here. So I put a bunch of the kids in the car and drove there, and immediately all the windows fogged up from everybody in the car. So I had to roll the windows down because I didn't have a defroster to to do it. So I don't know how they lived all those years with that thing.
Chris says, buy a Beetle. They all have heater delete.
Yep,
Oh.
yep.
Dean says, not just buff. I love it too.
I think the Volkswagen vans, the liquid cooled vans, do have heaters though. So
Thumbs up.
I give you a thumbs up.
I was like, they're not gonna.
In case you can't see.
You did it, and I was like, they're not gonna see that.
No,
What are you doing?
because it is liquid cooled, so you might as well use that to heat the van. Yeah, it is a very pretty color. It's not the fastback model, but probably has a small block in it because there's no engine call out on the front fender.
What is that?
That is a Chevy Malibu.
Mm,
No, actually, that says Chevelle, doesn't it?
I
Right
don't
there.
know. I can't say it's too far away.
Yeah, it says Chevelle right on the fender. I'm not sure if they use the word Malibu here. I think that's a 300 Chevelle.
Mark says, my friend's 73 Beetle has a gas heater in it.
So it used gasoline to heat the interior. That could get dangerous. Why don't you just bring some wood and light a fire on the back seat?
Look at that.
That's probably easier.
Dean says, to Tavo, adding doors is much more difficult than taking them away. Buffalo Campos says, it was an FE engine in the photo.
Okay, so then they took the engine call outs off the fenders when they painted it. So then we know it's been painted. Thank you, Buff. Maybe another reason why nobody's bought it.
Chris says to Mark, Everspacker gas heaters. I heard they worked well, but sucked down gas like crazy. Mark says it was a factory option. The gas heater and the Beetle.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Dean says 352 two. What is
Two barrel.
two barrel? It looked. Mark says to Chris, possibly.
Now, in the Volkswagen Beetle, they also use the air from the spare tire to run your windshield washers.
I like that one.
So if you cleaned your windshield washers, if you cleaned your windshield enough and then got a flat tire, you're pretty much screwed because you used all the air inside your tire to clean your window. That was not a good plan.
I like that car.
It is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very clean, but the price reflects it too.
Bob de Campos says, my father's 46 Chevy had an aftermarket gasoline heater under the dash.
Just pulled from the gas tank, Buff. The same gasoline.
Mark says, indeed they did.
Well, they had to keep the car cheap, I guess. They're not going to put an extra anything on it. You use what's there, and every time you fill it for gas, then you fill up the air in your tire, your spare tire too, I guess.
Davos says, Australian Beetles had heaters of sorts. They had ducting around the exhaust pipe and redirected air into the cabin. Oh, that's nice. I want to do that.
Only if there's no exhaust leak. If there's an exhaust leak, you're going to be sucking the exhaust too.
That.
Yeah.
Rosa Campos says it had a line from the fuel pump.
Oh, okay.
Chris says Otavo, yup, heat exchangers had them here too. Mark says another friend of mine had a 73 Valiant and it had a foot pump for the windshield washer.
Yeah, I had a car that had that, but I can't remember which one. I could have sworn it was my 63 Fury sitting out here, but there's no floor pump on it. So maybe I'm remembering wrong. Maybe she has an electric one. I don't know. She has a Plymouth Fury, so I don't know. I can't remember what car it was. But nobody would go for that today. I mean, putting in manual effort to clean your windshield? No way. That would not happen. I have an electric one on the Dart, don't I?
No
to
sé,
clean
cariño.
the window, clean the windshield?
No sé,
I think
cariño.
it's electric on my 74 Dart.
Don't yell.
I'm not yelling.
You're yelling.
I'm not yelling.
Stop. You have a microphone right there. You should have learned from the video. Hold on. Junkyard D is here.
Hey, Junkyard D, welcome.
It says, "Hi, Max Spec. Finally caught one of your lives."
Good to have you.
Davos says, "We had the foot pump until early 67. Then we had the square body Valiant and came here with the electric washer." What? Marks?
Mm-hmm.
I already said that.
You did not.
I said it was a foot pump for the windshield washer. You were just saying that.
And mine was 74. I think it's electric.
You were just talking about the foot pump. Stop it. Don't make me sound crazy. Anyway, Lester's here. Hi, Lester.
Hey, Lester.
He's making me sound crazy. He's saying I'm not reading the messages when I just read them.
It's my word against hers.
No, it's your word against the literal text on the screen.
I'll go for that.
Do you want me to rewind the live? I can. It's recorded
No.
for posterity.
No. Let's not.
Ándale, pues. Mark says, "I'll back you up, Mrs. Speck. I heard you loud and clear." See? See?
Everybody's ganging up against me. Even Chris.
Uno's here. Hi, Uno.
Hi, Uno. How's the hockey game going? Or did they not drop the puck yet? I don't know when 1:30 is in your time. Or my time. Or our time.
Behave.
I'm always behaved.
Uh-huh. Badly behaved.
Whenever I find one of these 65 Mustangs for sale, I try to look at the dash to see if it's a Mexican car or not. Because when these cars were 10 or 15 years old, Americans came here, bought them all up, and took them to the US and changed out everything and made them American and sold them over there because they got them a lot cheaper. So it's rare to find one that actually has the metric speedometer on it.
Uno says they're losing 3-1. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, I thought he meant me. I was losing 3-1 because there's Mark, Chris, and Lester against me.
Him.
Oh, that would be 4-1 including her.
Yeah. Uno says, where are you in Mexico? Not the address, the closest town. We're in Sinaloa. We are in Mountain Time.
Yeah.
It's 2:28 right now.
Yeah, we're in Mountain Time here, and if you go a little bit north to Sonora, they're in Pacific Time, or some of it is. I was looking at a map with there's supposedly 4 time zones in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was only 2, but the tip of the peninsula over there is just a different time zone than everybody else.
Everybody thinks Mexico is small. It's not. It's really large.
Yeah. And then you have Baja California, that's Pacific time zone, and then you cross the border into Baja California Sur, and it's the same time zone we are. How does that happen? I don't know, because they're in the same line.
Because it's not straight.
It doesn't go over that far.
It is crooked.
It does not go over that far.
And Chris says, "Lovely gear."
It is pretty nice, even though it's silver.
That was a Scarman Gia. Used to see this all over the place here in the late 60s. I feel like I'm talking too loud.
Oh, so okay, Uno. So then the puck dropped a half hour before we started. The mountains, the time zone is named after. Okay.
Mm, and 40 hours directly north of you. Well, that doesn't tell me anything, but okay.
He's in Canada.
Sure, but
Now you have to look at a map. Two carburetors and a big fan on that Carmen Ghia. I don't even know if Carmen Ghias are worth anything. If people, I mean, people here ask a lot of money for them, but do people actually pay any money for them over there? A nice one? I don't know. Was it a Porsche engine or does it just have a big fan on it, Chris?
let's just say, where's the population of Mexico? I don't know. Let me Google it. Give me a second.
There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people just in Mexico City. Somebody put different seats in this Carmen Ghia though, and a screen on the dash. Oh my God, why would they do that? How dare they?
The interweb says it's 132 million people in Mexico. So 132 million.
Yeah. So a little bit less than half of what the US has. How
I think we're the 25th biggest country in the world.
many people does Mexico City have?
Mexico City.
Yeah, it's the traffic there is horrible, Chris. Absolutely horrible. Mark, does your wife allow you to have Alexa in the house?
22 million
22 million in Mexico City. Oh my gosh.
in the metropolitan area.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like that though. I mean, there's traffic, but you don't go into a mall and it's filled to the brim or anything. So I don't know.
Except that one that had the bus station and the metro station connected to it.
Was I there with you?
Yeah, we were there. Um, it was where I bought the bread. Um,
Because I was there with Chris. That's where we were dropped off after the tow driver dropped us off there.
I was
There was a Storiana or something, and then a Waldo's, and then all of the taxis that were sitting there. Is that
no,
what
we,
you're talking
we were
about?
looking for a present for Chris, and you called Marisol to ask her about Chris, and then she told you that he had to go to the
Oh,
doctor.
okay, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's the
No,
one time.
no, that was a different place.
Um. Okay, let me see.
That's where Tim Hortons was.
Yes.
We have Tim Hortons in Mexico. I don't know if you Canadian guys know that, but Tim Hortons is here. I don't know what it is. I didn't go in there, but
Chris says nice ones to sell for a respectable coin. And then he says, isn't the population of Mexico City like 20 million? Yeah. That says 40 to 50,000 Aussie pesos for a tidy Carmen Gia here.
wow, that is a lot of money.
Mark says, I asked Alexa. Yeah, technically same. I asked the interwebs. Mark says, she's the one that wanted Alexa.
So she wants to share you with Alexa. Interesting.
Uno says, did you find me, Lucia? I'm in my city. I didn't look. I don't know how to
What
look.
what city?
Why he said 40 hours up,
Yeah, but we need a city name.
but he said 40 hours up. How do I look for that?
You don't. We need a city name.
He
What's
said,
wrong with Tim Hortons, Mark? I hear they have coffee, and I'm not sure what else.
I don't know how to Google that. I'm confused. I'm not that smart. I'm sorry. Um, Mark says I'm going to Tim Hortons. Why? I don't know what they sell. I think they sell coffee.
Coffee and donuts, maybe?
I don't
Like
know.
Dunkin'?
And Chris says Tim Hortons and Dunkin' Donuts both arrive here at the same time. Tim has got its ass kicked.
Well, everybody knows Dunkin' Donuts. Everybody, coast to coast. So I don't know. What I saw in Mexico City was Popeye's chicken, and it shocked me because their population that buys their product doesn't live here. So,
That's rude.
but it's true.
We like chicken.
They put the Popeyes chicken in certain neighborhoods because they know. But then I see it in
What's
Mexico
chicken?
City. Huh?
We like chicken.
They put it in Mexico City, and there were some people buying, but I've never had Popeyes, and of course I can't now.
Did I tell you that I started in there's um what do you call it? The Korean barbecue places.
Uh-huh.
They started putting tortillas out because they were requesting it so much.
You can't have just Korean barbecue. You gotta have them. Did they also give you um, hot sauce with it?
Well,
I'm
Koreans
sure.
who have hot sauces, they know about their sauces.
Yeah, well, it's probably not hot enough for Mexicans.
No, it is. Koreans is hot. Uno says Tim's is a Canadian institution owned and started originally by a hockey player. Guess what his name was? It was bought by a Brazilian company 25 years ago and has sucked ever since.
Mm.
Okay. Mark says Tim Hortons decided to get rid of employees that haven't migrated to Canada. They get a government kickback for hiring newly migrated by people.
Jesus.
But are they stopping the migration? Not stopping it, but aren't they slowing down the migration?
No, the people are always applying.
Applying, yes, but they were saying that they were slowing down on approving those applications.
Oh, who knows?
Chris says, how about Popeyes ones when they first opened the shop nearby? It was totally nothing to write home about.
I don't think you're their demographic, Chris.
I mean,
It's the way it is.
not
It
at all.
always has been and always will be.
What about Kentucky Fried Chicken? It's chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken is for everybody. That's who they advertise to. Popeyes doesn't.
Mm, Pizza House Curse here?
Hey, Pit Snipe, thanks for joining us.
I was gonna breeze past his name. He says, "Hey y'all, I'm late. Been yammering on the phone with the kids all afternoon.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Sorry, I said hey y'all when you actually didn't say hey y'all. You said hey all. Sorry."
You can like put another Y in there.
Lester says, "I had a lunch sandwich at a Tim Hortons in Buffalo, New York once. It wasn't so bad actually." Mark Sobe says, "In Canada? No, that's in the USA." Uno says, Tim's is famous for Timbits, the hole inside the donut, and coffee called a double double. That's two cream, two sugar, all nasty.
2 sugars is not enough sugar in a coffee for me. I'm at least 5 to get rid of the taste of the coffee. So that wouldn't work for me. But so basically, they're selling donut holes, like everybody else sells, just calling it a cute little name.
Honestly, coffee for me, like I'm really happy with Cafeño, and Cafeño is like cheap coffee, like this, like
Yeah, but they have so many different options.
yeah, but
You know,
like
hot,
what
cold,
what I
ice,
mean
what
is
all
like
that.
we have one in my town is my town is so small that we have one Starbucks. That's how
And
that's
unfortunately, it's really close to our house.
yeah. I should tell you a lot. We have one Starbucks, and I've been there, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. Uh, so there's a place called Cafeño, and I like it better, and it's cheaper.
And
So
Cafeño is everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
yeah, here, but it's
Places you would never think there would be one, there is one.
yeah. Mm,
Pit Snipe was just talking about Popeyes.
yes. Business says I was just talking about Popeyes when my Popeyes when my kids were tiny and we were poor. We ate Popeyes every week and $20 for a huge bucket, sides, and biscuits.
How much was that compared to KFC? How much was the same food at KFC at the time?
Uno says the BLT at Tim's is better than anywhere else. I
I
just
I've never had a BLT in my life. The L doesn't make it for me, and neither does the T.
I just had a tuna sandwich right now. It was I guess it was what is the difference between a tuna sandwich and a tuna melt?
One has cheese on it. You melt the
Okay,
cheese on it.
so I have tuna sandwich. Um, hold on. Mark says KFC needs to go back to the old cuts of chicken and bring back the old coleslaw. Bitsnipe says gorgeous C10.
People do a lot of work on the stuff here. Yeah, they can make some nice trucks.
Chris says KFC is owned by Pepsi, not nearly as good as it was back in the day.
No, anything having to do with Pepsi, I stay away from.
Lester says Starbucks coffee tastes burnt to me. Yeah, right? It's like it doesn't even smell good. Like when you go into a coffee shop, it should smell nice, and it doesn't even smell good. Uno says if you order donut holes, they don't say do you mean timbits? They say LWG don't sell donut holes. Would you like to pick something off the menu?
My answer to that would be adios.
Okay.
Would never stay in a place that an employee talk to me like that. I have no common sense whatsoever.
Mark says Mexican Spec. I no longer take sugar in my coffee. I used to when my work would go to Timmy's and get donuts on Fridays. That made it all very sweet, so I stopped the sugar in the coffee on Fridays.
I need sugar so I don't taste the coffee. I
Uh,
don't like coffee.
Um,
But if you're freezing cold and you have a hot cup of coffee, it helps a lot.
yeah, Miguel doesn't actually like coffee. He only drinks it when he has to, like when we are waking up or when you have to go early somewhere. When we're waking up.
No, when we were freezing to death in the
Yeah,
Valiant Volare because it was 9 degrees outside and the air was hitting me. Yeah, I'll take a cup of coffee to keep me alive.
yeah.
Other than that, no.
It's nice says Popeyes came with more. KFC's 20 meals was only 12 to 15 pieces,
Okay.
if I recall correctly. Uno says LWG look we gosh darn. Look we gosh
Mm,
darn. Chris says actually best KFC I ever had was up in Canada. Was a long time ago now though.
mm.
Mark says then once I got coffee without sugar, without noticing, and from then I don't put sugar in my coffee. You know why, Mrs. Beck? Will agree. It's because I'm sweet enough. Ooh. E-Fog is here.
Hey, Fog, welcome. It's going so fast I can't read it over here.
Business says I'm sucking down some Starbucks homebrew espresso blend right now. The taste ain't burnt. It's depth low. I just don't like it. I don't know why. I don't like it. And I've had other coffees. It's not like I haven't had nice coffees. I've been to coffee shops like they make their own blends and it's nice and everything. Like Cafe Punta del Cielo, they make their own blends. And that was a nice coffee. But Starbucks is not a good coffee. Um, Bully California says hot chocolate over coffee.
Oh yes, but it has to be the right hot chocolate.
Uno says, did they sell 62 Chevy 2s or 68 Mercury Cougar?
No, not originally in Mexico.
Mark says to, Mark says to Chris, KFC sucks now. Lester says there was a place called Chicken Delight when I was a kid. They delivered to your house with a Volkswagen Beetle.
Was the beetle dressed up like a chicken?
Hmm.
I've seen that. I don't know from that company, but I've seen that.
Dean says welcome. Okay. Pitsnipe says I like coffee that I have to chew.
I can't even imagine that.
Mm, Chris says the mark. Yeah, I haven't been there in many years. Far better places to eat for the same money. Johnny C says, I remember Chicken Delight. Don't cook tonight. Call Chicken Delight.
That stuck in his head probably.
Probably. Dean says the oil level. Miss Ecstasy wants me to top up her Suzuki EFOG. Um, Slimos
Hey, well,
was
welcome,
here.
Slimo.
Yeah, I was wondering if I said hi to him yet. Um, Slimos here, and they say Sunday morning here. How's everyone? Did you feel the earthquake?
No, we're really far away from Guerrero. I didn't feel anything here.
What?
There was an earthquake in Guerrero.
Yeah, but we say Sunday morning here, so it's not in Guerrero.
It was two different things. There's a period after how was everyone, and then the question, did you feel the earthquake? It's a different
But it says
topic.
Sunday morning here.
Yes, he's in Australia. It's Sunday morning there.
Oh, okay. I got it. Sorry, I'm sorry. I took me a second. I thought he was saying like, "Hey, did you feel the earthquake like I did?"
No.
Like like that.
Mm.
Anyway, and no, it was pretty far away. But some of my coworkers they were still working while the earthquake happened, so they had to drop everything and take cover. But everything was fine. Nothing extensive happened to anyone that I know, except that one person was without electricity, without power for the rest of the day until later that night. Uh, both the campuses, I remember Chicken Delight. Jenny says Pioneer Chicken wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't. Although their breading was really, I don't know how to explain it. It was thick, and it made a small piece of chicken look big. And I understand that you can go onto the internet and find the recipe for that breading and make your own, because I don't think Pioneer Chicken is around anymore. There was one, I think, 2 blocks from our house when I was growing up, so we did have that chicken sometimes.
Dean says to Slimo, Australians only have earthquakes in places starting with rock. Mark says to Chris, we have a Chick-fil-A here now. I tried that and it was good. Pisam Husker says Church's chicken was cheap when I lived down south, but for good reason. Smaller birds, and I swear their breading was only flour and water.
That is very possible to make it cheap.
Yeah. Chris says to Mark, do you have any Red Robin restaurants up there? Uno says the government stepped up to save one KFC buffet restaurant in a very remote place in Canada because it was so important to the community and how many people it fed and how many deals with natives were made there.
Mm.
Mark says to Chris, I don't think so. Dean says, did the earth move beneath your feet, Simon? See, they were thinking the same thing. That Simon was saying that he felt the earthquake.
That's a line from a song.
Mm. Knife says, yes, Misfit. I love Red Robin. Chris says, Red Robin makes a kick-ass crispy chicken sandwich.
Crispy is what I can't have.
Mm. Could be from cornflakes.
Hmm?
Cornflakes. Slimo says to Dean, Sansui earthquake. I don't know what that means. Dean says, or if it has a castle in it. Buttercup Farm says yellow and red, not good color mix.
It catches your eye though, doesn't it?
Fair. Fitzknife says I love a couple of fried eggs on most everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says to Chris, Red Robin on West Coast. Closest for me would be Watertown, New York. Both the campuses, I really like that Barracuda.
It is very yellow. I'm not sure I like when they paint the dash, the steering column, everything the same color. Just I don't know why they do that.
Josh Homan is here.
Welcome, Josh. Thank you for being here.
He says good to be here. Fitzknife says yellow and red just work when it's done right. Mark says my wife doesn't like chicken burgers, so Chick-fil-A is a no for her.
I've never had Chick-fil-A. They came in after I left the U.S.
Let me say Ronald McDonald's cars. Ronald McDonald's car.
Yeah, if he was still around. I bet if I drove that to our local McDonald's, the people there would have no idea about those two colors because there's no yellow and red in the McDonald's anymore.
No. Junkyard says, looks like Ronald McDonald should be driving it.
He got paid enough; he could buy it.
Business says, Red Robins is in Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Dean says, Newcastle, Rockhampton earthquakes were devastating for Australia.
I like that license plate. CU 969.
Mm-hmm.
I like that license plate.
Um, Mark says, Slimo, you're right. Um, Dean says something about Newcastle. Junkyard says, my first moped was a yellow 69 Barracuda. Mark says, 70s Mustang.
How many headlights does a 70 Mustang have, Mark?
Chris says, Chick-fil-A is good, but not everybody is a fan of the company itself.
Oh, those are mentally disturbed people that shouldn't even be. You don't look at that when you're buying food. What?
Shut up. Business says, I've never had Chick-fil-A. I keep meaning to go get my free sandwich on Bet's Day, but keeps getting distracted. But keep getting distracted. Mark says Mexican Spec. It's always confused me between 69 and 70.
The 69 Mustang has the four headlights. And in 70, they kept the middle headlights and put what looked like vents on the outer where the other headlight used to be. So it's easy to tell. Plus, I know you know what the 1970 Ford side marker lights look like that were on all of the 70 Fords.
I wouldn't like to have you as a teacher.
The what?
As a teacher.
You don't have me as a teacher. Hello, Olive.
That's what I
Welcome.
just said. I wouldn't like to have you as a teacher.
Well, I'm not your teacher.
How dare you? What? Olive is here. Dean says all 70 Stangs reverted to just twin headlamps.
Yep.
Josh Roman says good to have you join us. Dean says hi to Olive. Olive saying hi. Mark says Mexican Spec. Oh, okay, I probably won't remember that, but thanks.
69 was the only Mustang to have dual headlights, if you can remember that. Can you remember 69? How are you doing today, Olive?
Is that Mr. Bain's car?
Do some of you know what this is?
Is that Mr. Bain's car?
I don't know. I think he drives a Mini.
Oh.
This is from another country.
Olive says kind of cool interior there. What's that? Inspector BW222 is here.
Inspector Bruce, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
And they say, hello, I just found the live broadcast. Mark says Mexican Spec, I'll try. Chris is guessing Fiat 500.
It is a Fiat 500. And I think there was an I after it. I'm not sure what that means, or somebody just added that, but yeah, it's an old Fiat 500.
Flamo was guessing Bambino. Fitznine was guessing that it was a Gia.
It is a Fiat.
Gia. Sorry, Josh says Fiat looks like.
They did do something to the interior. They did redo the interior just to make it pop.
Olive says not too bad, Max. Maybe a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Junkyard says, "What is the classic van market like in Mexico? Dutch slash Plymouth in particular."
There are some here, and they're not. It's not a classic van. It's just an old van. I published one on my stuff. It was a '77 Plymouth long wheelbase passenger van with a I think it has a 318 in it. Very very nice condition, green and white. But there are some Mopar vans here. They weren't sold here new. They've all been brought in over the years.
Mark says, "Usually I stood for injected. Usually."
Yeah, I don't think that's the case in a '60s Fiat 500. I really don't think so.
One Eye Cat is here.
Hey Don, thank you for joining us.
And they say, "Good afternoon, Max." Mm, Efox says, "Interesting vehicle right there."
The Ford or the Fiat EFOG?
Dean says, "Some 68s, the Chevy GT 350 and 500s had quad headlamps."
They had headlights in the grill, but they were not on the car. They were add-ons. They did not come out of the factory as a Mustang with dual headlights.
Inspector says, "Fiat 500, is that less horsepower than a Fiat 850?"
I don't know. I don't know how many horsepower the Fiat 500 has. It was a tiny little engine that they showed, so I don't know. I tried my best to stay away from Fiats if I could. I had an X19 one time, but I would buy anything at an impound yard, at an impound sale. Didn't matter what it was. It's all experience.
Mark says, "LTD, but the car says rear plate in wrong spot."
On the LTD or on the Galaxy, I
And
think it's a Galaxy because it doesn't have covered headlights.
Josh Homan says, "That car would look good in some kid's toy box." John Kerr says, "What about pre-70s vans?"
Oh, you mean the A series vans? Yeah, there's some of those here too with V8s and stuff, but people ask a lot of money for them. I'm not sure if it's worth it though. And they did come, they were sold here, and they did come with the V8s in them.
Efox says Fiat. Mark says, "I think Fiat measured power with hamsters and not horses."
That's probably true.
Driveways say those original 500s were only two-cylinder, something like 22 horsepower.
I guess people didn't have to go very far or very fast in their little Italian towns.
Fitzner says they can't sell that car. Where will the dog sleep? I know, right? I was thinking of.
In the Fiat?
No, the other one. Those are dogs underneath. You didn't saw it?
Oh, oh, the dog doesn't come with the car though.
But where's the dog gonna sleep if you take the car?
Underneath the next car over. It's not the only car they have, I'm sure.
Uno says that Capri Coupe is pretty badass.
It is a pretty nice car. It's got brand new paint. It is a manual transmission. It's got Mexico only wheels that came on the car. But somebody put 87 to 93 Mustang GT taillights on it in black. I think they look good on there, but it should have the Mercury Capri taillights on it if you want to be original. But yeah, it should move out pretty well with the Mexican 302 under the hood.
Bonnie California says on Fiat. Dean Stevenson says, "Hi, my sanctified pirate buddy." One Eye Cat says, "Too much blue for me."
Too much blue for anybody, I think, Don. I don't know what people do. They paint everything the same color. There needs to be some contrasting colors on a car, especially a car like a Galaxy sports roof.
Um, Johnny says, "My friend had a 76 X19. It was a fun little car."
Yeah, it probably would be, but mine wasn't running. I just kind of had it at the shop where I just had it at the shop, and I bought anything with covered headlights or pop-up headlights.
I'm talking about too much blue. I remember this one time we were looking about buying me Jesus, a Barracuda, 69 Barracuda. We were looking at Barracudas in the US.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you remember this blue one that we saw this one time. It was a light blue, and the interior was redone with this. Oh, sorry, 1 second. The interior was redone with this pattern, and I don't remember the name of the pattern. The name has the pattern has a name that you know of because you told me the name of the pattern, but I never.
Houndstooth, like
Yeah, yeah,
little
yeah,
squares.
yeah.
Yeah.
That it was like blue and black or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I love that car, and you're like, you.
Doesn't work for me.
But I loved it. It's too bad we couldn't get it. It's a really nice car. I'm sure somebody bought it and redid it because I haven't seen it in a while. Um, Mark says I had a sign in the window of my first drag car, a '77 Pontiac
Parisian.
Parisian ran 13s on the quarter mile. Sign said, "If I went any faster, I'd burn out my hamsters." Is it the Mustang? Your Mustang did 13s?
No, 15s.
Oh, 15s. I
Yeah.
hope that was 13s.
No.
Lester says original Fiat 500 had 479cc, then 499cc engine.
Oh, they made it a lot bigger.
Uno says if a car had the same power as two horses, then you didn't have to pay car taxes. If you had a slightly bigger engine, it was motorcycle taxes. Tire size matters too, plus gas is 10 times the price or more.
Mm. This Chevelle here, the Chevelle four door, is a one owner car, very well kept. They want a ton of money for it, but it's only a 6 cylinder four door 71. I even think it's a three on the tree. Very original car, but still, it's a four door inline six. Very pretty car. Looks good in the dark green. It's a good color for the car.
Um, Dean says Mexican F code 302s stayed over 200 horsepower gross from 1968 to 1984. Even the 289 in the Mexican Maverick stayed at 195 from 70 to 72. Great engine. The Mexican 289 was like a was like a 302, different differential rods and crank only.
Different rods and crank only.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Johnny says, love that green.
It looks good on a lot of cars, Johnny. Yeah.
Chris agrees and says, handsome car. Davos is perfect for me. 6 cylinder, 4 door.
The Australians are so used to four doors over there. We should ship all of them over there and sell them.
You want to switch? Olive says, I think my aunt had one like that.
I think I see three pedals down there because the brake pedal looks small. And then they put Corvette wheels on it, I guess, in this last picture. Whatever. You don't try to dress up an original grandma car.
Una says, also laws and tariffs after World War II that most of those countries couldn't produce vehicles or machines with too much power capabilities to prevent replenishing their armies with war machines. Phyllis Conqueror is here.
Hey, Felis, welcome. With the car that we're looking at now, I put this on here because I published it. If somebody wants to make a White Lightning replica, because this is a four door Galaxy with a factory stick shift in it, so they can make it look just like the movie car and even put the gear shift lever on the floor to make it look like just like the movie.
Okay, but can you get me a baby though?
No.
Why not? Rude. You know what I mean when I say baby, right?
No.
From Supernatural.
Oh.
What do you thought it was?
Stop hitting me.
No.
That's gonna cost you. Come on, we're losing this. We're losing it.
You didn't answer me. That was perfect for me. 6 cylinder, 4 door. Olive says, I think my aunt had one like that. I already read that. Pilgrim Color says Kias do command a premium in the U.S.
Maybe I should start listing those then, because there are a few here.
Dean says, yeah, you cannot be petty one-eye cat unless it's a Ford. Lol. Fitzknife says, when I was in Naples, there were those tiny pedal cars, mostly Fiats, everywhere. Then this low rumble echoed through the entire neighborhood, and blue/white 396 Chevelle came around the corner.
Wow, wow. They never seen anything like that.
Fitzknife says, it looked huge and your chest. Shook your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny says, I have grown to really appreciate the six-cylinder cars. Cabo says, even better, 3 on the 3 manual.
Mm-hmm.
Manuel. Uno says, you gotta do a list of Mexican spec cars episode. Use every car from every maker every year that are Mexican spec only.
That would be a very long video, Uno.
Mm-hmm. A series?
Hmm?
A series? Olive says, those wheels are okay. They might have had trouble finding 14-inch tires.
Well, the other pictures had the stock steel wheels with wheel covers, so they just put it on there to see how it would look. I'm
Mark,
sure.
Mark is yelling at you and saying, I'm not familiar with the White Lightning.
Well, go look up White Lightning. It's a Burt Reynolds movie
Mark,
from the early 70s.
Mark, why are you yelling? Dr. Wolverine Garage is here.
Hey, Doug. Welcome.
And they say, have no fear, the Dr. is here. With a potato.
Always a potato.
Dean says, yeah, Mexican Spectre is gonna cost you. Lol. Chris says, don't beat up on me, beat up too much. Anna, elder abuse is a punishable. I'm sorry. But he gives me a look when I say, can you give me a baby? He gives me this look, and it's like, that's not what I meant. I meant from Supernatural, baby, the car. He doesn't know, like, what the hell? Like, I would say anything else. Uno says, what was the blue Ford Coupe? Custom, Galaxy, LTD, or 500?
The white one we're talking about for the movie is a 71 Ford Galaxy with a 351 under the hood and a 3 on the tree. The blue one before was a 70 Galaxy 500 sports roof. Not an XL, but just a Galaxy sports roof.
Johnny says one car I never should have parted with was a '69 Camaro 6-cylinder.
67 Camaro.
Sorry, '67 Camaro 6-cylinder manual stick, all original. I was very young and disliked it being a 6-cylinder. Stupid kid.
Yep. I have stories like that too.
Dean says, French fries taters have arrived. Oh, you're gonna make me hungry.
Save us some, Dean.
I'm hungry. Dexter says white lining is an old slang term for homemade whiskey, is it?
Yes, that's why they named the movie after that.
Oh, okay. Fitzknife says it was one of the NATO admiral's cars.
He had to show everybody who was boss.
Mark says, lol, I has left my caps on by mistake. I'm sorry, lol. Oh, because he was yelling.
Yeah.
Uno says, I like muscle car wheels and grandma's cars or Mordors/crew cabs.
I like steel wheels and original wheel covers or hubcaps. That's the best look.
You like wire wheels and make me clean them.
Yeah, if I have them, you sure are gonna clean them.
I don't want to. Dean says, Dexter, we just called it white man's firewater. Pizza says, lol, suave. Don't yell at me. You're not my dad.
Sobe.
Suave?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said suave.
Right, that's his name, and he pronounces it Sobe. That's why he did his name.
No,
like
his name is Sauve, not suave.
Oh, then Pitts and I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, see, I wasn't wrong. That's why I was like wondering. Olive says, "Hey, kind of my style though. I favor coupes and wagons also." Junkier says, "Moonshine Doogie, sing me some George Jones." Mark says, "351 CR, 351 W."
It's a 351 Windsor in all the cars in Mexico.
Sorry. Doxter says, Thunder Road with Robert
Mitchum.
Mitchum is another whiskey runner movie. Pay attention when the main character, Mitchum, lights a cigarette, things go bad for him. Business says, "I don't need your rocking chair." Dean said something and then decided against it. Uno says, "Baby is a four-door Chevelle." And there's a show called Preacher Chevelle.
No, Uno. Baby is a four-door Impala.
Mm-hmm.
67 Chevy Impala. In black.
Yep. Mark says, "The piss knife, will you stop touching me?" Low.
Calm down, you two. I'm going to turn this live right around. Right around.
Piss knife says, "I'm not touching you." Waving my finger in your face. Slimo says, "My Holden Youth has three on the tree, but enough is enough. It's time for a 5 speed." Mm, Uno says, "Sorry, it's a purple 1972 Chevelle, four-door hardtop or sedan, depending on what episode."
We're talking about the show Supernatural, Uno.
Yeah,
I don't
Supernatural.
know what you're talking about, but Baby is the car in Supernatural, which is a 67 Impala.
He said he was talking about a show called Preacher.
I don't know. Never heard of that.
No, we're talking about Supernatural.
And Supernatural probably did more seasons than Preacher, so it wins.
Yep. Dexter says, "G-Man, T-Man, revenues too. Searching for the place that he made his brew." They were looking. Am I saying a spell? Because if something goes wrong, I'm gonna find
Yeah,
you.
you don't want her saying spells, Doug.
If something goes wrong, I'm gonna find you. Mark says, "Business Husker." Mom, he's doing it again.
You better tell him we're going to turn this live right around.
Guys, stop it. I do have a ruler right there. Oh, my leg fell asleep.
A metal ruler.
No, you have a ruler. I
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Yes, I will go get the metal ruler.
I have a regular ruler. Business is all sabe. See? And this is all these wrong statements have been removed. Soon I won't have anything left to say. Okay. All this is there's a fun looking little coat. And Dexter says, "Don't make me stop this live. I mean it."
Exactly. I'll turn it around. I'll turn it right around.
Dean says, "Opala, 2.5 Chev in line 4."
No sardine. There was no Opalas in Mexico. That is a record, or it is a Fiera, Fiera. There were no Opalas. We're not Brazil.
Business says, "This is when Dad would pull the belt off, snapping through every loop, quickly, followed by silence in the back seat." Lol.
How did he get his belt off when he was sitting in the car?
With one hand.
Yes, but you're sitting in the car and you have to go like this and pull up so it's not really against the seat. Ah, make me hit the kids even harder.
Olive says, "Hi, I love Opalas. That seems to have Opal badges though."
Yes, it's an Opel record.
Main Street Mopars here?
Hey, Ken, welcome. Glad you can make it.
How do you manage the kids, Main Street Mopar? They're fighting. Dean says, "I might have to remove my earlier statement, Olive." Uno says, "If a chicken dies and someone burns a shoe and some hair and a tortilla, Made with stones, a spell is coming. Mm,
That's a different kind of thing. That's more like in Louisiana.
no, we have chicken spells here.
Oh, way behind.
And Dexter says, my only spell is Mrs. Spec will suddenly find me irresistible, but I can't be had. I'm for Lady Dexter only. Will the Trail is here?
Hey, Will.
And they say
Happy
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thanks for coming.
Olive says, I bet it's basically the same, but with a different name and badges.
And it's a four-cylinder under the hood, where the Opala in Brazil had an inline six. So yeah, I sent some pictures of the orange one to Kiwi because I think it would look great with a V8, a 350 V8 under the hood. It's just a really nice fastback style that would look really good and drive really well.
Dean says, yet another error removed.
Mm.
Olive, I was wrong.
Okay, Fonzie.
Pizza says, Ninja, that I don't know. I made me pee a little every time though. What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Ninja, that?
Taking the belt off and gonna hit him.
Mm. No, I never had that kind of dad, so no, I don't know. Inspector says, are these Porsches available? What were they called other than 914?
Well, if it's a four-cylinder, Inspector Bruce, it had the four-cylinder, and the 916 had the six-cylinder. I don't know of any other name they would have come under. It's too bad Tanner's not here right now to see this black satellite. He said he was going to a cousin's wedding, so he may end up with a girlfriend from that.
Mm. When I cast says that, I like.
It is black. I don't like what they did with the side marker lights, though.
It could be red.
It looks like they painted the amber and the red instead of just buying the smoked side marker lights that we sell. That would have been much easier, or more cheesier.
Business says, is Miss Anna one of them show throwing mamas? Not really. Unless you're a furry child misbehaving. Bodyguard Fana says, nice Roadrunner.
Well, yeah, it's a satellite. I don't think it's a Roadrunner.
Junkyard asks, Roadrunner?
Bench seat with a column automatic shifter, exactly the way Uncle Tony likes it.
Dogster says, could be a satellite also.
Yeah.
Mopper K says, ooh. One Cat says, looks like a Roadrunner.
When you see a car in Mexico, you have to think base model because there was none of that extra GTX, none of that stuff. No,
Felix Concolor says Roadrunner, satellite.
it's all the same body.
K says, why was it K? Mopper K don't play. Did we say hi to Mopper K don't play?
No, not yet.
Sorry. I was.
Welcome, Mopar K. Thank you for joining us.
I thought we already did. Sorry.
Why would you skip over K?
I didn't skip. I thought we already said hi. Because I. Anyway.
No, she just came in.
Hi, Mopper K. Mopper K says, not my favorite satellite model, but I won't turn her away.
See, I'm not the only one that doesn't like them. 71 to 74.
And Dogster says, I wish they hadn't painted the bumpers.
They paint everything. It's a lot cheaper than chroming them.
Chris says, what year is that satellite? Looks like a 71 with a painted front bumper.
Yes, it's a 71. No, 72, sorry. It does not have 71 side marker lights, Chris. That's a big giveaway. It's a 72.
One Cat says GTX. Junkyard says GTX badging.
People will put everything on their cars here, but it is not.
Mm-hmm. Upper K says GTX. That ain't a GTX, is it?
No.
Olive says, is in the US, the six-cylinder one was called 914/6.
Well, some people call it the 916, but it's very obvious. You can tell it would have 5 lug wheels. It'll have They have a wide body kit on it. Yeah, that's not what this is.
Dexter says, this is my favorite runner body style, just 71 and 72.
I'm shaking my head, Doug. That's all I can do.
Uppercase says, ooh, hi. Junkier says, hi, que. Dexter says, ocho cilindros.
Yes, it is.
Chris says, 70 white satellite Sebring is my favorite muscle car era mopar.
More head shaking from me. How can you beat the style of the 60, 68, 69, and 70? Much, much nicer car.
Mopar K says, that's a sharp truck. The yellow one we're looking at a minute ago. Inspector says, I remember in the late 70s, the first time Jerry Brown was governor of California, he owned a Plymouth Satellite. He used it as his official state car.
Was it a four door or a two door? Was it his own car, or did the state give it to him? Because they
Mm.
California did use a lot of Mopars at the time for just about everything. They got a good deal on them.
Mainstream Moper says, the car I wish I could have gotten out of the junkyard I used to go to as was a 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner.
71.
Alpine 71 Plymouth Roadrunner. Alpine white with black strobe stripe. 383 pistol grip 4-speed. Someone restored it later.
Well, at least somebody got it and put it back on the road. That was nice. Yeah, that would have been a hot car.
Uppercase says 68 body Plymouths, but I like the 69 interior upgrade.
Mm-hmm. The what do they call it? I don't know. I can't remember the word.
Inspector says it was his own car.
Oh, okay.
Mark says 68 to 70 roadrunners suffer from Barrett Jackson syndrome pricing.
That's true, but I think they're better looking cars. I mean, the 71 was a huge departure from 70, and the roundness doesn't do it for me.
Dexter says the bay window Volkswagen bus is super nice.
It's very
Ay,
green.
te habla tu hijo.
We're not eating anything if that's what you think. Come on.
I do smell like tuna.
Even if it smells like tuna in here, she doesn't have any more. So,
Hi, baby. Um, Inspector says he didn't use the limo. Uppercase says first oil change on the duster that I have done. About to get to go, about to get to it.
what are you gonna do with the old oil, Kay? Just curious. You guys notice the rear window design on this Dodge Dart? This was the Mexican Dart with long runners going halfway down the quarter panels, kind of like the '69 Dodge Charger rear window setup. This is what people like about the Mexican Darts.
Was he picking it up? I didn't see.
Top it off. Okay.
Okay, Uppercase says they're gonna put it on the containers. And Mark says your rear looks different. And
Yeah, the
then
rear window design is different on the Mexican Darts.
and Uppercase says drop it off at O'Reilly's.
Again, they wanted the car to look different from the U.S. spec cars, so they did the extra window thing. The extra runner there on the rear window.
Uppercase says I do things right around here. I try to do more right than wrong.
That is always a good thing.
Felix Concolor says like they combined the reverse glass with a fuselage design rear. Uh, Slimo says I saw one of them in Australia. Tavo says 200 sets of those sails were sent to Australia, used on a Mexicana version of the Valiant Regal.
That's interesting. They wanted to make it look like the Mexican Dart.
All this.
You want me to read them? Dougster, Mexican Dart, El Darto. What is the Spanish word for dart? Dart or dado? They all the cars were called dart here, but the dart that you throw is dado, no?
No.
What? The pressure of a name. The pressure of a
Yes.
name.
Dardo.
Yeah,
You
dardo.
confused me with the word. The word. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Because dado is die or dice.
yeah. So pit snipe, hey, anybody adding ZDDP zinc to their 90s era and older engines? That was a question. And Olive says, Dart's pretty cool. It could be made into a pretty nice car if it doesn't have rust. Inspector, Bruce, the Mexican Dart is sportier looking than the US Dart. Yeah, it does. It kind of makes it look like a 69 Charger back there. And as long as it doesn't have rust in the sail panels, you can make it look pretty nice. Mark says to Pitt, usually for flat tap at cam break in. Ooh, nice Mustang. Why are you bugging us during the live?
He's not bugging us.
Yes, he is.
No. You're just jealous.
He just wants food. He's looking around for food. This is I'm not sure if it's an actual Mach 1 or just a sports roof, but it is a very nice car in very nice condition. I'm not sure what these would sell for over there. A car in this kind of condition. But the price doesn't seem outrageous. That does look like a 73 mark with the vertical turn signals. And then you have the air grabber hood and the hood pins. The interior is just as nice as the exterior. Pit snipe. Yeah, definitely for break-in. I got a 97 industrial GM 6.0 liter that I think is running its cam flat. It always gets Valvoline high mileage or Mobil 1. And Chris says to Pit snipe, I run Rotella diesel oil in my Beetle for extra zinc. Slimo, do you have the Mitsubishi Pajero? My Peruvian nephew had a laugh at that name. No, we didn't have those here.
I know what that means.
Mitsubishi started selling cars here in the early 2000s, I think. Fitz Knight. Makes sense, Misfits. Mark. Yep, I had a 73. KJ Kylie's here. Say hi to KJ Kylie.
Hi, KJ Kylie.
Hi, KJ Kylie. How are you today? That is a very nice Mustang. Inside and out. Nice fold down back seat. Pit Snipe asks or says, all high mileage blends of oil have extra zinc, but not as much as 80s oil did. And Mark says to him, I don't trust the products meant for high mileage.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's a manual. Hey, Colby Queso, welcome. We got a little bit of time left, about, I don't know, about 40, 50 minutes left of pictures. But how can you beat this Mustang? Everybody likes a fastback, even though you can't see out the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes them. And here's another one in Grabber Blue. Got to be the same year since they're together. I'm not sure I like the interior too much with the white. I'd rather have just plain white instead of the blue inserts, because you have so much blue on the outside, you don't need those blue inserts on the interior to remind you that it's a blue car.
Now I can smell the chicken.
Hmm?
Now I can smell the chicken.
Chicken. Who's making chicken?
Me?
Oh, Yes, Dean, sports roof. But I think that this one is a Mach 1. I'd have to look at the original invoice to see how it was born.
You want a pillow?
No. And this one has factory air conditioning. Wow, that's a rare option in Mexico. Feliz. I prefer visibility and ergonomics. Steep hatches are an annoyance.
Steep.
Steep hatches are an annoyance. Yeah, the rear window on these cars are basically parallel to the ground, so it's really hard to see anything out the back of this thing.
One I cat says, had a 73 Mac 1 years ago. Love that car.
This is rare in Mexico to have one with air conditioning.
Business Husker says, oil analyst Pitt went down the new Valvoline Restore and Protect rabbit hole. I approve. It works and the lab numbers are great. If you got a gummy old engine, I recommend it. Bolicarofano says, blue seats easier to keep clean over white seats.
Yeah, that's true, but you're still sitting on the white part of the seat too. But the car wouldn't get used much anyway. It's just a visual thing for me that the all white interior would work with the grabber blue on the outside.
Windsor, I'm sorry, Dean says Windsor 351 for barrel.
4 barrel, yeah. So this one must be a 74 Galaxy 500. In here in Mexico, they had since we didn't have Lincoln Continentals here, they took some pieces and they put them on a Ford Galaxy to make it a Galaxy Continental. They put headlight covers in front of the headlights on this, and they put a trunk with the big, the fake tire hoop on it, the tire thing on it to make it look like a Continental. And then they had a floor shift automatic in it, the horseshoe automatic, and a few other highline options. And it made the car look unique. I'm not sure if the headlights worked with vacuum or anything, if they installed that whole system, or they were electric. I've never seen one in person, but it was a very interesting looking car.
Mark,
Just for the people that had money, you know.
Mark says the one I cat, my 73 Mustang is what taught me how to work on cars. It was always broken down. And one I cat laughs at his face.
Just laughs. Doesn't have to laugh in his face.
Limo says Galaxy 500 is a good song by the Revered Horton Heat.
Revered Horton Heat.
Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, it also has factory air. Wow, that's 2 in a row. You don't see that much. But people are asking a lot of money for these Galaxy 500s here. So I don't publish too many of them. Because who's going to pay $15,000 or $20,000 for one of these mid 70s for Galaxy 500s? They're not even LTDs. They're just Galaxy 500s. They have LTD pieces on them from the factory, but they're not LTDs.
Junker says, were the market lights the same as the US car starting in 67?
On some of the models, yes, junkyard, but for example, the Ford trucks, the Ford trucks didn't get a side marker light until 1980. The 79 and back, where a side marker light would be on the dent side, there was just a filler panel there, or there was nothing there. So yeah, the rules were very different here. No third brake lights starting in 86 on some models because they were not required.
Dean says, I'm still recording from Mustang Sally. Dean says, the nice 290 horsepower 351 Windsor for barrel.
Yeah, it got my wagon moving pretty well.
And Dexter says, so with most Mexican market cars being low optioned, what did high roller Mexicans drive?
There were a few models for them in the line. Um, let's see, in the 70s, what would they drive? I don't know. There wasn't really much out there. I can't think of any. There were no luxury cars here. There were no Cadillacs or Lincolns or any of that stuff.
No.
But maybe the Ford Galaxy was seen as the luxury car of the line, and it was seen as the middle line car in the U.S. Now this Mustang 2 is a 75, I think, with a 302 V8 and a manual and black, and supposedly it said that it had all rebuilt suspension. So I'm wondering why the front end is hanging really low. Did they do that on purpose?
Junkier says, did all of the mopeds have round markers in 68?
Here, yes, they did. The few that were sold here, because I've seen Mexican Spec 68 Coronets, stuff like that. Yeah, they did have that too. They didn't sell a lot of models here.
Phyllis Conqueror guesses Excaliburs?
No, nothing like that here. Those were way out of the. That was in another universe. Way in the other universe. For people that don't like Mustang 2s, they've never driven a Mexican Mustang 2 because it's not an economy car. They all had V8s. A lot of them had manuals. They were pretty decked out, and you were definitely somebody if you were driving a Mustang in Mexico of any year, right, Joey? You know what I'm talking about.
He's very happy.
Mm-hmm. Cat's being stroked.
Dean says 200 horsepower F code.
Yep. Here's another one that looks like it's really low on its suspension to me. And did they do that on purpose? God, I'd hate to drive that car on Mexican streets.
Mark says, my distant cousin had a 69 Dart GT. It wouldn't pass the safety check because the side markers were reflectors. He had to get proof it was made that way.
So you're saying that the guy that was inspecting the car was an idiot or a moron? Because everybody knows that. Everybody. You have to open up a book once in a while. Everybody knew that.
Fitzknife says Starkey and Hutch.
Starsky.
Starsky.
Yeah, I don't like that stripe. Not necessary on any car.
Junker says, what engine packages were available on the Mustang 2?
302 V8. That's it. One engine, no changes, and you got either the 3-speed automatic or the 4-speed manual. And a lot of people chose the manual.
Dexter says, so sport cars could be a high roller car in Mexico?
If it was brought in from the US, yes. There were basically no sports cars here. There weren't no Corvettes or anything like that were sold here in this time. They did sell them later, but like I don't know if you guys saw the report that happened in Guadalajara or Zapopan, where the guy was driving a Urus, a Lamborghini Urus, and they just opened fire on it. Just hundreds of rounds shot into that car. Supposedly, from what I'm reading, is he wouldn't pay protection for his business, and that was the end result. And he's driving a Lamborghini Urus around Mexico, and won't give any money to the cartel. So you just can't do that. You just can't drive a car like that around. I don't care if you think you deserve it. You just don't do that.
Felix says, Mopar painted like a famous Ford. Wanacat says, Starsky and Hutch paint job on that just wrong.
Don, a Starsky and Hutch paint job on any car is just wrong.
Dean says, easy to win
Wine,
wind the
wine.
torsion bars back up.
Yeah, in the front, but in the back was lowered too. Not supposed to be that low.
Mark says, more unlikely.
Yeah.
Chris Knight says, yeah, it ain't quite right, cat. Are you talking to my cat? He's falling
No,
asleep.
one-eyed cat he's talking to.
Oh. Olive says, hey, Starsky and Hutch paint. Mark says, Starsky and Hutch, hillbilly cousins, Barsky and Clutch's dart. Dean says, Mustang 2 had the 1968 two-barrel 302, a special Mexican specified for speed.
Wouldn't people have loved in the U.S. for a 1975 car to have a 1968 engine in it in the U.S.? They would have loved that.
Dean says Carolina Squad. I don't know what that means.
No, that's a truck that only is squatted in the back and the headlights are shining to the heavens. That one was lowered front and back.
Olive says probably needs new springs, really.
I'm gonna bet that they actually lowered it on purpose for some reason, and now they're trying to sell it. So you'd have to say, hey, I have to deduct this because I have to make the car right again. It's gonna cost me this much.
And they're gonna say no. Body Carafano says clamshell tailgate. Cool.
Only if you didn't have one, buddy. I drove one of those, a '73 Chevy wagon to school one time, and I was getting my books out of the back, and my accounting book fell down in between the door and the under part. So I told my accounting teacher, "Hey, this just happened." She says, "Okay, I understand. I had one of those cars too," and she let me go for that day. Didn't have to do anything with my book. The next day, I had to disarm, take everything apart and get my book out of there. Ah, what a pain.
Dexter says 20 years ago there used to be a reverse scheme, white with red stripe, Torino in my area. Mark says here a dart that appears lowered likely has worn out or broken front torsion bars and rear leaf spring mounts, going through the trunk from rust low.
It looks like they did it themselves though, because the whole thing looks even front to back. So no, but that would have to be brought back up. You don't drive a car like that on Mexican roads and hit potholes and everything else. You take out the whole chassis of the car.
Fitzknife says, I think they finally outlawed the Carolina Squad.
Yes, they did. That won't stop people from doing it though.
Dean says, yep, except for trying to find legal high test fuel for a 931 compression Mexican 302.
We don't have that either, and the cars run fine here. We don't have any we don't have any high octane gas here. We have horrible gas here.
Olive says, my friend had a red Yaris. A Starsky Hutch stripe would have been cute on. Josh Holman says, US Spec wagon.
Yeah, that was brought in at some point, Josh, from the US. But I put it in there because wagons are cool. And but on that one, it looks like they redid the wood stuff on the side, but they put it all the way to the bottom of the car. And I don't think it was like that from the factory. I'm gonna have to look it up, some original pictures. But yeah, it's a clamshell wagon. Buff has talked about it a few times on his lives. The clamshells. I'm not as much of a fan of it than as many people are. This thing we're looking at here is not just a Volkswagen van; it's a food truck. So they sell food out of it every night. The roof comes up, all the panels go up. They have put their chairs out there and they sell the food.
Dean says, I could do it to my youngest daughter's Toyota IST. It's already red. I just add white.
Buy some white out. I'm sure that'll work.
Mark says potholes are a major issue here as well, especially the Quebec roads.
Yeah, well, you get the cold and you get all the weather, but they don't fix them here. So yeah, going north here in our state before we get to the border of Sonora, The road is horrible, and I mean it is violent when you hit the potholes in
Yeah.
my Durango, let alone something like that where you're gonna scrape the bottom of the car. It was terrible, absolutely terrible, and we had to do it twice because I forgot the keys in the house for the Ormiga. We had to come back on the other side of the road, which was horrible. Turn around, go back on the other side of the road, and do it again. So we did 3 times on the horrible parts of the road just because I forgot the keys in the house.
Dean says no emissions gear except for the altitude compensation carb.
Mm. This must be a U.S. car because it has Mercury Comet taillights. And before you guys say the no va means no go, this is a Chevrolet Nova Concourse. Inline six under the hood, Buick Skylark front end, hatchback. This is how they came out of the factory.
And Chris says, so when would you be bringing up the combi you told me about?
Right now, Chris, I'm trying to get a hold of the owners of it because I need to get a copy of the original invoice and a picture of the VIN on the van to make sure they're the same. But I think they're taking this whole week off because the phone number that I have for them is their business number, apparently. And they have not been answering my messages, so maybe they're on some kind of vacation. But as I told you before, that van is in a pretty dangerous area. It's in the state of Zacatecas, and the whole state is really bad. And I asked the guy, is it a safe place to come? And he says, no, I can't tell you it's a safe place to come to buy the van. So we're going to go in there on a bus, like the middle of the day. We're going to go in there on a bus, buy the van, stay there in a hotel, and leave at like 9 o'clock in the morning because it's not that far from the border of a better state. So we don't really have to drive. It's like 100 kilometers. We have to drive inside the. No, it's not even that. It's not even that much to get out of the state and get back into Jalisco. So we're all ready to do it. The buyer's ready to send me the money and everything. I just need to get that before I go there. Mm-hmm. I need to make sure that they actually have the van, they have the paperwork, and the numbers match. I'm not going to go any other way.
Lester says, I think the clamshell wagon had a lot of extra vinyl wood. Not good.
Yeah, but I don't think it went all the way down to the bottom of the car, even the rocker panels. I don't think they did that.
Mark says, lol, a couple of days ago here in Ottawa, some guy in a Veloster wrecked his car in a store parking lot. Hit a major pothole that was underwater. Stephen Andrews is here.
Hey, Stephen Andrews, welcome.
And they say, hola, señor y señora Mrs. Spec, ¿cómo estás? Yo estoy bien, gracias. ¿Cómo estás tú? Josh Woman says, I heard that Nova was new in Spanish. No. It might be new in like Italian, maybe?
No, that's nuevo or nueva. People take it apart and say no va, which means no go. So the car didn't sell well. The car sold well here. Nobody takes the word apart and puts that there. But I know. Yeah, no, the cars sold well here. They were fine. It's a rumor, that people come up with for some reason. And you'll notice the numbers on the quarter panel of this American says 4.6. The Mexico only engine is in this car. I don't even think this car is for sale anymore because they had 2 publications for it. One was marked sold. So I don't know. But it's a good looking car.
It's not correct. Nuevo is new. All it says in Latin though, Josh. Well, maybe Latin or Italian or something like that. Mark says that Nova front end looks like the Buick version of the Novas. I think the Buick was called a Concourse.
No, the Buick was called a Skylark. That front end was from a Skylark. The Concourse was a Nova trim package that was like a higher, like more luxurious trim package. Of course, that's not the case on the Mexican Nova. It was on the US Nova. But when you have the Performance Nova, it's actually called a Malibu Rally, Rallye. Why they put the E on there, I don't know. But it'll say right on the front of the grill, Malibu Rally, and that'll have a 350, a 4-speed, and also be the hatchback.
Okay, hold on. Mark Sabes says that no, wait, that's I just read that. Mainstream Mopar says Mexican Spec, did Mexico get a 340?
No, the only V8s they had were 318s, and then they skipped to the 360 in 1975.
And Chris says Buick version of the Nova was the Apollo.
Yeah, that was in the early years, and then they changed it to the Skylark.
And Josh says thanks, I wasn't entirely sure.
And then of course Chris has to like this.
Clint Street Machines is here.
Hey Clint, welcome. Thanks for coming. This little rabbit truck. There's quite a few of these here, even though they weren't sold here. But like I told you before, in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, Mexico opened up the borders to be able to bring in any open bed pickup you wanted because there was a lack of pickup trucks in Mexico. So these trucks were brought in, all the mini trucks were brought in, all the full size 4-wheel drives, any trucks that you can think of were brought in and sold, and because people were buying them like crazy. So you could find these little Volkswagen trucks and all of the Toyotas, Nissans, Chevy Loves, Ford Couriers, all of the mini trucks are sitting here still in really good condition.
Mark says Mexican Spec. Right, I forgot the Skylark name. I had bought one of those Buicks for my dad for cheap. It wasn't running right, but all it needed was a new fuel filter.
Did it have a V8 or a 6-cylinder in it, Mark?
Business says only up to 74 Misfit.
Yeah.
I don't
then they changed the name to Skylark.
Correctly. Steven says that Nova myth is a very old wife tale. I remember it way back in the 70s from sources that were trusted quotations.
Yeah, no. Nobody here knows anything about it, so.
No. Chris says those Caddy wagons are nice.
The pickups.
Doctor says in US, remember NOVA for Chevy, Nova, Olds, Omega, Pontiac.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, for Chevy, Nova, Olds, Omega.
No, it's Nova, Omega, Ventura, Apollo. Nova.
Well, I was working on it.
You don't have to put the Olds and Pontiac in there. But then they changed it to Skylark, so then it was Noves. So didn't work after that.
You don't know finish. I'm gonna stop reading the comments.
Keep it going.
No, what you mean? Dean says Porsche 928S wheels on a rabbit pickup.
They're probably worth more than the whole truck.
Mark says Mexican Spec, it had a V6.
Ooh, that's an inline 6 under the hood of this Fairmont. That means it's an American car.
I thought you were saying it on Mark Sobe's comment.
I'm talking about the picture.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's way too much smog stuff for Mexico. No, I see. He says it had a V6.
Yeah.
There were no V6s in Mexico, so I haven't seen a V6 in one of those cars in a couple of decades.
Mark says the Duckster. Okay, my dad's car was an Apollo, not a Skylark.
Okay.
Duckster says if it looked almost exactly like a Nova, then yes, Mark. Sorry. Chris says stop being mean to your wife, Miguel. Happy wife, happy life. See, stop being mean to me.
I'm not being mean.
You're being mean. I was reading something and I realized I was reading it wrong, and when I was correcting it, you were like, "No, I will say it."
No, that's not what happened.
It was exactly what happened.
If we're talking about the letters,
and how am I gonna learn if you don't let me do it?
And I also don't agree with that, Chris. Because if I'm not happy, there's no way she's going to be happy.
And if I'm not happy,
If you're not happy, you go to sleep. You take a
fine.
nap.
I'm gonna go to sleep then.
I figured you would.
I've been awake for 24 hours now. Mm, wait, wait, wait.
I'm looking for a backup for the Volkswagen van for this client in case this one doesn't work out because I really need to get it done and get it to him as
Mark,
soon as possible.
sorry. Mark says the Duckster. Indeed, it did. And Chris says I love stirring the pot.
That's okay. She'll stir it too.
Mark says we'll turn this around.
We have a very big passenger van going here, Mark. It's going to take a lot to turn this live around. No station wagon here. It's a full-blown passenger van.
Steven Andrews says the first gen Cadillac Seville was also a highly modified Nova platform automobile.
Yes, it was, but shared very little with the Nova, the fuel injection and everything else.
Right.
It was just, at the time, I didn't even know that. I mean, it was a four-door sedan like the four-door sedan Novas, but I didn't even know that it was on the same platform at the time. And I don't think Cadillac wanted anybody to know that.
Doctor says the Spec slightly arguing is cute. I do feel like I need to say that I am Mexican, specifically from the north. So we do like to argue a lot, but we don't actually mean it. Like Mexican Spec can tell you when he had his first meeting with a Mexican family, he entered the door and they thought they were arguing, and his friend had to tell him, no, no, they're just talking. They're not arguing. That's just how they talk.
See, but I was used to it anyway because I lived with my friend in Vegas, and his father was Cuban, his mother was from here in Mexico, and it sounded to me like they were screaming at each other, and I didn't understand Spanish at the time, so I don't know what he was saying. But I thought he was screaming at his wife, and she was screaming back. And my friend says, "No, no, that's just the way they talk. That's just how they communicate." Okay.
Yeah. Um, Glenn Nickerson's here.
Oh, hi, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn. He started with a song. He says, "Don't be cruel to a heart that's true."
Yeah,
I don't know that song. I'm sorry.
you can be mean but not cruel.
Mark says, Mexican Spec, hey, you saw the length of my RV. I can turn anything around.
You need a lot of room though. Lots of room.
Dean says, nice convertible.
Somebody made it. It's a Mexican car. Somebody cut the roof off, put this roof on it to make it look like the McLaren Capri convertible, I guess. But it says that it needs a new top and needs something else. But it would be an interesting car to play with because they don't want very much for it. I'm sure you don't want that one, Dean. I'm sure you don't want that one. It is a manual, apparently. The stick shift. V8 stick in that car. I wonder how much twisty it is, though.
Steven says, Cadillac hit it quite well. Yes.
They sure did for me, and I was a car kid. I was looking around. That came out. A friend of mine, my aunt's, I'm gonna call him boyfriend, had one in black and silver, and it never even occurred to me that it was on the Nova platform because it was longer wheelbase. I mean, everything was different. So I don't know.
Steven Andrews no, wait. Pesnar says, I thought so, Steven. Fist bump.
The biggest problem on this little Mustang here are those white license plates because those white license plates were from the 90s, I think. And I don't know how much money would be owed on that car, if it's even in the system anymore, what kind of paperwork would be. Because if I do get a car for Dean, we're going to have to put license plates on it from here so he can drive it across the country. So I'm not sure if I would even be able to put license plates on it because it's been expired for so long.
Buddy Carafano says, Italians are loud too. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never met them, but by the TV that I've seen, we do share a lot of uh, noises. Dean says, my favorite is Persians. Persians families are great to sit in with. Best food, but the sound effects are pretty full on. Cool. I've never met any Persians. Mark says, usually top goes down, price goes up, but it will be a no for me.
You don't know how somebody, if they reinforce the underneath or anything. I think it would be hard to take the car to Kiwi and see what he has to say about it. That's for sure.
Mid South Lowballer says, grew up in South Florida. I always thought Cubans talked so fast and ran a lot of words together, but I always loved the interspersed English words.
Yeah, I had a lot of that with him. Yeah, and a lot of words that he used that we do not use here in Mexico.
Yeah,
And I'm not going to say the words.
don't say the words.
No.
Joe Showman says probably quite a bit.
Yeah.
Mark says it will be as flimsy as an open shoebox.
I kind of like it with the roof on it, like this gray one. I like the style of the roof, everything that looks. I don't like that. Somebody had to put a hole in the roof of this one, but still.
Clean Street Machine says Persians work magic with rice and chicken. I would like to try other cultures' foods, but I am afraid of not liking it and not because if I don't like food, I'm not gonna eat it, and I don't like wasting food. So what am I gonna do?
You're going to buy a lot of Pepto Bismol and eat it.
No. Dean says you bet, and sweets too.
So I'm going to bring it up. When we're going to need to ask on Buff's Live tonight and see if Luis shows up on there and ask him what is going on over there because of what happened. When did it happen?
Last night.
Last night. So what happened in his country last night? And I hope we're not going to get the same here. Supposedly he threatened the president here or something. Something about you too, Claudia. He said something about that.
I don't know.
I think the reason that happened was because the man was not a legally elected person. He didn't win the election. That same can't be said here. She actually, earned the presidency, so there was no reason to come in and remove her from anything. But yes, Mark, in Venezuela, Luis, who's in Buff's Live every time, lives there, so he would be able to tell us what's going on. I don't know if he's actually looks out his window or anything, other than he's just watching his movies and staying safe in his house. So I don't know, but we're gonna have to see. You guys look at this car that's coming up on the screen, the white Buick. Now you guys tell me what year it is after looking at the pictures. It's very obvious, very obvious. What?
No,
Why are you looking at me?
because that's where my head is pointing.
Yeah, Dean, I don't know how they do the votes here. I think everything is still paper ballot and they count them. Notice that on the seats? What year is that, guys? Only 1 year for that.
Glenn Nickerson's guess is 1984.
Yeah, 1984 Olympic edition.
Mark also guesses 84.
Yeah, I remember very well because I was in Los Angeles. I had just graduated high school, and we had the Olympics in town, and Buick was the official car for the Olympics.
Dean guesses 1986.
He's wrong. And Buick was the official, and all of those Buick Centuries were the cars that they let the Olympians use and everybody at the Olympics in Los Angeles. That was an obvious one. That was too easy. Let's give him a harder one. Here's a harder one. Why doesn't this car have the molding on the side? It's supposed to have the molding and the side marker light there. Somebody thought it would look cleaner, I guess. Just a clean body.
Is that an actual question or is that a question to the
It's not an
universe?
actual question.
Okay.
How many of you guys had these later K cars? Yes, Glenn, you win 10 Mexican Spec points. Unfortunately, they're only worth um, the exchange rate is 17 17.90 Mexican points for one of Kim's points. So
Okay then. Dean says message deleted. It's an ongoing thing. You don't have to delete it, it's fine. Mark says so Canada went to the metric system the same year they hosted the Olympics in 1976.
was there a connection there? I don't know.
Pizza says I was heartbroken in '84 when the USSR boycotted, so I didn't get to see Billy Olson beat Sergei Bubka in the pole vaulting. Well,
That was pretty specific, Pit Snipe.
Mark says I drove one as a cab for a short time.
The K car? That one had a stick shift, which most of them did here.
But the Carvana says never replaced after crash. I don't know. I'm trying to see, but I don't see any other messages from her. Business says I had on a claim pretty solid.
Yeah, they sold the Spirit here and the Spirit RT. So
Mark says 1984 series Aries K. What a piece of junk.
also it was the early one. The one that was there was an 86 or newer, little bit bigger body.
Glenn Nickerson says I'll trade you for a homemade burrito from Mrs. Spec.
What does everybody have this thing for burritos?
Mm,
We do tacos here.
I had to make my soup. I forgot. I had to make my soup. I'm out of soup. Johnny says Sam, the Olympic Eagle, I think. Every business sponsored the Olympics that year. Kind of an exciting time.
Yeah, and it's coming back too. The Olympics are coming back to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. And the whatever the Olympics of the football is coming to Mexico.
FIFA.
Um, Dean says wrong is wrong. This is Mexican Spec. Chris says I like the graphics package on that FFF Ford truck.
It's easy to say, Chris. You don't have to stutter like that.
Business says my nephew's '93 Dakota still had the K car interior. Makes me sick.
Mm. Very plasticky.
Uno says losing 4-2, 136 left empty net. Mark says connection. Yeah, I added +4 until I got to 1984 for the Olympic year.
Yeah.
Dean Stevenson says talk show host. Burrito talk show. Uno says burrito is the whole meal on the plate wrapped up. Taco is just a sandwich.
Well, that's all we have here are sandwiches.
Mark says I miss the Mexican restaurants that were around here. Now we have our burrito chains.
Everybody does burritos, which
Oh.
which is a flour tortilla, and I can't have it anyway, so it wouldn't matter if they were here or not.
Mm-hmm. Olive says, cute. Pitsnipe says Dave Schultz won gold in wrestling in '84. He was later shot by John DuPont.
Something must have been going on between those two.
Uno says, Alicia, please swear in español, losing 5-3, still an empty net.
Who's Alicia?
I don't
Is he
know.
talking about you?
I think so. En español, maldición,
Maldición. Sí.
maldito, maldición. Uh, Mark says to Chris, it's Nord. It's easier to say. Barracuda says, I think I remember something about a bomb in the '84 Olympics.
Hello, Barry. No, that was not the. I think it was the '96 Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. In Georgia.
Oh, hi, Barracuda. Sorry.
SS.
Will the Trail says that's a cool looking Chevy Cavalier SS with the 5-speed.
Is it an SS? I don't think they had Cavalier SSs, especially in 1990. But for some reason, it's black and it's got a stick shift and it's here in Mexico. So weird.
Chris says to Barry, there was a bomb incident on the '96 Olympics in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was pretty sure I got the number right,
Mark,
the year right.
sorry. Mark says we have mucho burrito, fat bastards, and a few others.
Well, that's truth in advertising then. If you go to them all the time.
This time says that was Atlanta in '96, I think, Barry.
Yeah.
This knife says the movie Foxcatcher covers the whole Schultz Point thing pretty well. It's a good
Oh,
movie.
okay.
But the Carafana says wing on Oldsmobile just wrong.
Nobody. That's a Sierra Eurosport. So the wing fits on there perfectly. It's supposed to be there. It's the Eurosport model.
Junkyard says when was the last year of the Volare?
1989. And it was on the K. It was a K car, and the Volare was the stripped out model, completely stripped out. No options on it at all. Your 4-cylinder, your manual transmission, and probably a heater.
Will the Drill says, oh yeah, that was the event that was made into a biopic 4 or more years ago. Biopic? 4 more years ago.
Biography.
Mm-hmm.
A movie about a biography. Here's a liquid cooled van in Mexico City. Now, let me tell you guys what's happening here. Because I can now offer shipping from Jacksonville to from Veracruz here to Jacksonville, Florida. Guess what's happening in Mexico? People are protesting whatever they're protesting, and they are blocking toll booths on highways, mostly around the southern area, around Mexico City. So if I was to get a client that wants his car shipped out of Jacksonville, I can't get the car to Jacksonville because the highway that I would use from Mexico City to Jacksonville is blocked off. Nothing gets through. And yesterday there was 7 different toll booths that they did, mostly in the southern area. We're pretty good up here for right now, but they switch around to different places. If I go get the Volkswagen van, I'll be fine. There's nobody blocking anything up here as far as I know. But, I come up with something, I'm able to do it. They block the toll booths. So I don't know what the government's doing about this.
But Miguel, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I don't know what that reason is at this point.
Junker says, so when did it move from an F body?
The 1980 was the last year for the F body.
Will Drill says, here in America, the last year of the Dodge Aspen and Plymouth Polari was in 1980.
Right. In 1981 and 1982, we did have rear-wheel drive cars here, but they were on the M-body platform, the Dodge Diplomat, as Mean Street Mopar knows. They put the F-body front end on it with the M-body rear end, so it kind of looked like the same car, but they're both basically the same car. They're basically the same car. So But in 1983, everything was front wheel drive. There were no more rear wheel drive cars here. Everything was Dart K after that. And the bottom of the line car was the Volare.
Glenn Nickerson says Richard Jewell was made a scapegoat even though he alerted the authorities.
Yep. Cops are blind. They don't want to go investigate anything. Hey, this guy came to us, so we're going to charge him with it.
Business says 84 just happens to be the age where I was crazy, go nuts for the Olympics, wrestling and pole vaulting mostly.
Okay.
Mark says I prefer the Dodge Diplomats, and when we went to the Chevy Caprice, I didn't like the ABS it came with.
You're supposed to like ABS in the snow, Mark. That's the whole thing.
Business says the whole Jewel thing was just so sad.
Yeah, cops are out of control, and you just,
What is that
yeah,
interior?
I don't know. Casino carpet?
It's making me. It's worse. It's making me dizzy.
But you never know. We may have to go buy that van if the white one doesn't work out.
Oh, I hope not. I'm bringing seat covers. Mark says no. With the drill says, any chance you came across all Mexican police cars?
That's hard to tell, Will, because they didn't make police packages here. Although I did see one Dodge Dart that had on the plate under the hood police or policia. But other than that, it's not like we had the car companies making police packages with better anything. Like today, they will they have some electric cars running around. Whoever gives them the best deal, they'll throw the light bar on it and use it. Volkswagen Jettas or whatever they use. Lots of trucks, lots and lots of trucks. But when they're done with them, they go to the junkyard. They don't sell them to the public because they are so worn out. You're not putting them back together. They don't. It's not like every 3 or 4 years they replace the trucks. No, they wear them out completely before they go to the junkyard.
Don't the majority of the police use trucks, pickups?
Yeah, they do, though, depending on what department they're in. But the Transito have the motorcycles, and they
Mm.
have the little cars, and they always have the flashing lights on the roof. So you don't know if you're being pulled over because they're always playing with the lights on the roof. So I just keep driving anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, my mic just died.
There you
My mic's back on now. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's going. It may die though. We're right at the end anyway. We just showed all of our cars, so the mic says, "Hey, you're done."
go. Mark says ABS in the snow will not let you stop at all.
Oh,
Uh,
this mic is.
Here, put this on.
This mic is.
This is for him.
That's okay. We're gonna close it out anyway because it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes, and
Junker says interesting. Is the blue one on your 2026 walk around thumbnail yours? What year is it?
the blue what?
The Mustang.
There's a red Mustang on there.
Oh, this blue one. I mean, in your thumbnail.
Yeah, on the thumbnail there's a red Mustang right now. Which one are you talking about, Junkyard?
2026 walk around thumbnail.
The car in the backyard. Are you talking about? I think it's the aqua colored Dart. Yeah, that's actually Mrs. Spec's car. That's the only car we have that's close to blue.
Yeah. No, I think you put a different. Um,
What?
you put a different. You put a thumbnail for that live for that video.
Oh, okay, Junkyard. I know what you're talking about. No, that's not a Volare. That's a 1980 Chrysler Super B. That's 2 hours from here. I'm going to be publishing that car again because he publishes it and then he takes it off and I think it's sold, and then he publishes it again and then he takes it off and I think it's sold. So yeah, I've talked to him a few times about the car. It is a very 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 nice car. 360 under the hood, automatic transmission on the floor. It's like the RTs would have been over there. The best mechanical that you could get in the car, and it has no rust. So that's a miracle in itself. But yeah, he does have both sets of wheels. He in the other pictures he has these clown wheels on the car, which look terrible. But the original wheels that are in that thumb on that thumbnail should come with the car. But it's in a place 2 hours away, which is the town my son lives in, is where two cartels are fighting. So I'm not really anxious to go there. But if somebody wants to, no, it's a 1980, the 1980 model. It's got the different front end. It's got the 1 year only front end on it, which I didn't show on the thumbnail. But it is a very, very nice car, nice interior. I think it even has air conditioning. But yeah, I've had it published before and nobody was interested. But I do have other ways to deliver it now because I'm setting up transport to the west coast of the country, and the via ship, and then I have a transport company that will pick it up in the port of Long Beach and deliver it anywhere in the country. So you don't have to lift a finger. Nobody has to lift a finger. The car is delivered directly to your door. So that helps a lot. I'm just trying because we're in the holidays, and then the New Year's Eve was Wednesday, New Year's Day was Thursday, yesterday was Friday. Nobody's going to come back to work just for one day, and then you have the 2 days on the weekend. So hopefully everybody will be back to work on Monday, and we can actually start doing some business and selling some cars. But with the I might be able to fly in to Veracruz and buy some cars in that area on the other side of the blockade, and ship them off from there. But I don't know. The government has to do something about these people that are blocking because they're causing problems for everybody in the country, which is what they want to do. The government here just has no legs under them. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to stop people from inconveniencing and hurting other people. I don't even know what the issue is at this point. So I don't know. But we do offer that service now. I'm trying to get the schedule for the ship on the west coast of the country because the ship comes up to Mazatlan, which is 4 hours from me. So I could take the car 4 hours down the highway, put it on the ship there, and then they will deliver it to either San Diego or Long Beach. And then the transport company picks it up there and they can deliver it to anywhere on the west coast or the middle of the country. And then I was going to do the Veracruz to Jacksonville, Florida, and that can handle the whole east coast over there and then have both sides covered and make it easier for people to buy them. So I do expect to be selling a lot more cars this year if the whole process, the whole thing can go smooth and not have problems with, every time I set something up, a blockade gets put in my way, like these toll booths. We were having the same thing around here, where the toll booths local to us, on the road going north to the border, they were blocked. Um, I have talked to a friend of mine who one of his customers works for the train company here, and he said that if I go to Chihuahua, which is the biggest state in the country, it's up north, that I could put a car on the train and it'll be delivered almost directly to our door here. So um, that transport is like will cost half what the transport from Mexico City is to up here. So it's a good deal. And then we just get on the same train, for a couple, I don't know, it's like $100 each for each of us to get on the train, and it delivers us with the vehicle back here to our town with not having, we could sleep, we could do whatever we want to do. But so I get that set up, and up in Nogales, they have a big rig blocking the train track so the trains can't go past either. So there's unrest basically all over the country, and I'm not even sure what the issue is. It's something about farmers and something about truckers. But I just don't understand why the government doesn't go out and clear these people out, because everybody else needs to get through there. If I am out on the highway and I come across, if I come up on a blocked toll booth, the line behind it is going to be for miles and nobody's going to move for hours or days. So we just would have to sleep in the vehicle. So That's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with here. But KJ Kylie, what do you mean $1,200 tail lights on the Volkswagen Beetle? I don't know anybody that would pay $1,200 for a Beetle tail light. And I don't know if you noticed, but those are Mexican tail lights on these cars here. They are different from the US tail lights. The US tail lights for the brake light and the marker light use two squares, which were next to each other. These Mexican lights have horizontal lines for the marker light, for the brake light, then the turn signal's on the top, and the reverse light is on the bottom. So they're not the same lights as the US spec vehicles. Completely different. Mark says, what? I haven't been able to stick with rear wheel drive lately, but last winter I had an '06 Chrysler 300. That was my last rear wheel drive for the moment. Yeah, I think the weather tells you what kind of car you have to buy. You don't really have a choice in that. I hear Volkswagen Beetles are really good in the snow, being rear wheel drive. I've heard that a lot. A whole tail light would be $1,200 for a Volkswagen Beetle? That's crazy. How can you see out that back window?
How can you not hit your head when you're going over a bump?
You mean they're usually there's nobody in the back seat to hit their head, unless it's a kid. Then you really don't care.
Mark says we can expect low but no heat.
Like I said, just build a fire in the back seat and you're fine. Yeah. On the Mexican Beetles, the rear windows flip out, so you don't have to worry about the smoke. It's fine. It's its own exhaust. I like those wheels though; they're different. But anyway, like I said, every time I set something up, something comes up and puts another, obstacle in front of me. But on this one here, I was talking to the client on the Volkswagen van because I was going to take it down to Veracruz and ship it to him because he's in Missouri. So then he says, well, I'm halfway between Florida and Arizona. I said, well, it's better for me if I bring it up to Arizona because the vehicle is never out of my hands. When I deliver it to be put on the ship, I deliver the vehicles to the Mexican customs agent, and they have the vehicle in their possession for 2 weeks, maybe longer, because it takes a week for them to do the documents on it, and then they have to deliver it to the port. So it goes from their hands to the manager of the port, and he puts it in his hands, and then it gets put onto the ship, so more hands are on it. And then on the ship, they move it around, so more hands are on it. Then it's delivered to Jacksonville, Florida, more hands are on it. And then they move it around there and more. And then the transport company comes and picks it up, so there's more hands on it. And by the time it gets to the client, I don't know if there's any more damage on it than when it left here. So when I deliver them myself to the border, I know it was in what condition it was delivered. And what we're going to do is we're going to put license plates on it here, in one of our names, and we're going to deliver it with the Mexican license plates so he can drive it from Arizona back to Missouri without any problems. As long as he has U.S. insurance, he'll be covered. They don't really care about the license plates, and hopefully he won't be stopped just because it has Sinaloa plates and they think he's transporting something else. But they can just stop him and look it over, and it's no big deal. But supposedly this van had just had the engine service. It has the timing belt changed. It had all the fluids changed. It had everything done to it, and it's just ready to go. So that is the one I want to get for him, and it's like half the price of every other van on the market. And what they're asking, people are asking junk for that same price. So I want to make sure I get this van, but they're not answering me, which is the hardest part of my job, is getting the sellers of the vehicles to answer me and give me the pictures I need, the videos I need, everything to make sure that the vehicle's in their hands, the numbers match on the vehicle. And I'm not even sure where the VIN is on a Volkswagen van, but I'm going to find it. I'm sure there's a sticker on it, but it should be stamped into the body somewhere, just like all Volkswagens. But we're going to find out about that. But brand new elephant foot Beetle taillight lens is $33.96. But who made that? Who made that, Chris? It wasn't Hella. It was, there's a lot of reproductions. The reproductions that we have here are absolutely horrible. I had one of our reproduction bases and one of the reproduction lenses, and I tried to put them together, and the four screws don't line up. So, that's the kind of stuff that they make here, unfortunately. But are you ready to go?
Were you asking me? I'm fine.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I want to get that bus for him, and then I have, I don't know, 6 or 7 other people that want other things, but I like to concentrate on one at a time, or maybe 2 or 3 if I make a trip to Mexico City to send cars off at Veracruz. I might as well do 2 or 3 at a time, because the ship only arrives once a month at the end of the month, so I can load them up with cars, for them all to be transported at one time. So European style lenses. What does European style lens mean, Chris? Different colors, or like the smoked? Because we have the lenses in many different. We even have that same light, but in LED in a couple of different styles. So I don't know what it takes to put those in. But anyway, I think we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go have my frozen Coke and Mrs. What?
No.
Don't they all have yellow turn signals? On the Beetle you're talking about. Oh, you have an older Beetle. You have the smaller tail light. Okay, yeah. Yeah, with the amber rear turn signal. We've been here for over 2 hours, Barry. We'll see you on Buffs Live tonight, so we can make sure that Luis is okay.
He'll see you. I'll be asleep.
Okay, I will see you. I was talking about us in the chat.
Fine.
Not you.
Oh, yeah, don't care about me or anything.
You're going to be listening.
I'll be asleep.
I'll make sure the volume is up and you're going to hear every word everybody says.
I'll be dead to the world.
Adios, Tavo. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, on the smaller lights. I was talking about the bigger ones, which is what we were talking about. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Adios.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Bye bye.